everyone. It's good to be with you today. I want to welcome you to our November 1st worship and thinking and celebrating with those who celebrate Dia de los Muertos today. And for those who are honoring All Souls or All Saints, tomorrow, All Souls, is we honor the ancestors, those who have gone before. We'll talk a little bit about them later. So I want to welcome you to our worship. It is truly, truly good to be together in these times. So whoever you are, wherever you are, and whenever you are listening to this, we're so glad that you joined us. We begin each service by acknowledging the land that we occupy and light our acknowledgement candle, acknowledging that here where I am in Vista and where the fellowship is on the stolen land of the Luiseño Nation and the Kumeyaay Nation. And in these times, we continue to hold those struggles close and act in solidarity with the struggles of Indigenous peoples throughout this country. So I'm glad to be with you. I'm glad to have that acknowledgement and encourage you wherever you are, if you have a candle, to light one with us at that time and maybe to get one so you can join us the next time. A reminder that we invite the bell 3 times. Once for those who've gone before, once for those who are with us now, and once for those who will follow. This is a sanctuary for those seeking their own answers to questions of faith. This is a sanctuary for voices lifted up for peace and justice. This is a sanctuary for those seeking companionship in their struggles, in their journeys. Gathered here at this hallowed time in the mystery, the limitless unknown of the hour at this sacred time. Though burdens weigh our hearts, I know we can go on in one strong body, breathing together. Spirit of life, come unto us, stirring compassion. I know we can go on in the struggle and in the power when sorrows heal our souls and burdens make us strong. Spirit of life, draw near, roots hold us close. Though the journey is long, wings set us free, make manifest the power to act, breathing together at this sacred time. Sing this song, blow in the wind. Limitless unknown in this hallowed time, we come together, draw close, spirit. In the struggle and the power in this hour and beyond, in one strong body in the mystery, here we are gathered, we are gathered in the mystery of the hour, gathered in one strong body, gathered in the struggle, in the power. Spirit, draw near to those here, draw near to those far in the struggle and the power. Spirit, Holy One, draw near, be close. It is good to be together.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near.
We invite you to have a chalice with you and light it along with us as we light the chalice. This poem was written by Rupi Kaur, Indian-born Canadian poet, illustrator, and author. Most importantly, love, like it's the only thing you know how. At the end of this day, all this means nothing. This page, where you're sitting, your degree, your job, the money, nothing even matters except love and human connection. Who you loved and how deeply you loved them, how you touched the people around you, and how much you gave them. One of my favorite times is when we speak our congregational covenant. Just like breathing, it's best when we do it together. Please join with me again today in speaking these important words, and the words will be on the slide. In mutual love and grace, we journey together, grounded in profound respect for a diversity of beliefs and ideas, sustained by service and shared ministry, enriched through collective spiritual deepening, and a safe environment for all generations to thrive. Together, we are more than we would ever be alone. Therefore, we promise to practice radical hospitality, mindful communication, and active stewardship. Thus do we covenant with each other. We gather each week to affirm this community. Part of this affirmation is acknowledging all that we share with one another, our time, our talents, and our resources. We live our values by sharing half of the undesignated collection with a local nonprofit organization. This quarter, the plate share goes to Camp de Venable, our Pacific Southwest Camp Conference Center. If you are currently in a position to give or to continue making your pledge payments, there are several ways to do that, even in the midst of shelter in place. You can write a check and mail it to our office, or check in with our office administrator to find out how to set up auto payments or pay through our database. Or it's very easy to donate through text to give. See the instructions on the screen or in the chat.
May it be so. Sung like the prayer that it is, Kimberly. Spirit of life, come to all of us, bringing us into that place of presence, to the spirit of life and love, and even our presence to one another. Beloveds, we come with joys and sorrows on our hearts each week. And we have a time on Thursdays at 4 where we're in meeting mode and share those. And I know day to day and on Sundays, we come with those as well. So I'm going to invite you to take a breath with me and open to whatever it is that you have on your heart in this moment. A joy, a sorrow, an in-between, a mix of everything, breathing in and knowing we come from the various parts of our lives and the various parts of our days and the various parts of ourselves, and we bring them here together. So we'll have a time of sharing joys and sorrows. You can write them in the chat. I would like to begin with acknowledging that along with our Minister Emerita, the Reverend Carol Hilton, we co-officiated at a small memorial gathering for our founder, Jeannie McCarrick, who died last year on October 30th, and whose memorial service was planned for March 20th of this year. We weren't able to gather at that time. And so we arranged to have a very small, socially distanced gathering at the fellowship with chairs scattered more than 6 feet apart. We stood in the gazebo and I looked at the building and I knew it would have been filled with all of us remembering our founder, Jeannie McCarrick. So I invite you to remember Jeannie. Again, she died so close to Samhain last year and Day of the Dead that we had her picture up last year. So let us call her into memory and the gifts of our founders. I hold in my heart our founder, Joan Singer, who is doing fine but was unable to join us because of the facility that she lives in. I'm holding in my heart our beloved Doris Kingsbury, who joined in 1963, who is also just a part of the fabric of our lives, who had a car accident, broke her sternum. So good wishes and energy and prayers for Doris. Holding in our hearts all that we share. The joys include adopting a stray cat. Grandkids, holding grandkids with ear infections. If you want to put your joys and sorrows in the chat, we can all hold them together. The sorrow, Willa asking Emily, when do I get to stop wearing my mask? New babies being born, yes. Birth happens. Snuggling with extended family, hearts breaking. All those who are afraid of for the future of our country. Missing dad and family and dogs on this day. We are holding Susan Thayer's husband in our prayers, who's had surgery, Jim. Loss of Suzanne, Tony Siribiani's cousin, being able to attend the funeral via Zoom. holding in our hearts election day, someone recovering from eating disorder. We're holding the fear of the unknown. Walter Wallace, another Black man killed by state-sanctioned violence, killed by the Philadelphia police last night. Beloveds, we come with these joys and sorrows that so many support the heartless policies of the administration. Our country is divided. Relief for brothers' health improvement. Children and the children who've been separated from their parents. Gratitude for warmth. Take a breath as we hold what's been written and spoken and what is being held in our hearts. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Holy One, you known by many names and no names, we pause in this moment. We pause holding all that we've heard and seen, the desires, the longings, the lostness, the losses. And in this moment of shared communion, even if we cannot be physically in each other's space, our deep interconnectedness is given expression by our time together, by the sharing and holding and hearing. In this time, Spirit of life, may each and all know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are held in love and mystery deeper than you can know. As in these times where we breathe and push.
And in America today, as we enter an era of enormous rage, as white nationalists hail this moment as their great awakening, as hate acts against Sikhs and our Muslim brothers and sisters are at an all-time high, just as Black bodies are still seen as criminal, brown bodies are still seen as illegal, trans bodies are still seen as immoral, indigenous bodies are still seen as savage, the bodies of women and girls seen as someone else's property. And when we see these bodies not as brothers and sisters, then it becomes easier to bully them, to rape them, to allow policies that neglect them, that incarcerate them, that kill them. What if? What if this darkness is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb? What if our America is not dead, but a country that is waiting to be born? What if the story of America is one long labor? What if all of our grandfathers and grandmothers are standing behind us now, those who survived occupation and genocide, slavery and Jim Crow, detentions and political assault? What if they're whispering in our ear today, tonight, you are brave? What if this is our nation's great transition? What does the midwife tell us to do? Breathe, and then Because if we don't push, we will die. If we don't push, our nation will die. Tonight, we will breathe. Tomorrow, we will labor in love, through love, and your revolutionary love is the magic we will show our children.
It was December 31st, 2016. I sat in Rachel Roth's family room with Michael Muffson and Rachel. I think Brenda Balmer joined us on the phone. And we watched the Watch Night service put on by Dr. Barber and other faith leaders from around the country. Now, the Watch Night service has its history in AME churches when slaves waited for the word of emancipation on a New Year's Eve, decades and decades ago. And so it was another watch night. Still stunned, still reeling from the results of an election that we knew was foreboding, that we knew would end up being devastating for so many, and it already was. Beloveds, we knew at the time that the times would be hard. We didn't know exactly how, but our worst fears at that moment had been realized. Valerie Carr, a Sikh American civil rights attorney, activist, stood on that stage, and the piece that she said before talked about her Sikh immigrant family's experiences coming to this country, and her uncle, who wore the turban of their faith, being killed after 9/11, which was when she decided to become an attorney like the man who had helped her grandfather decades earlier when he emigrated. Valerie Carr's words have echoed and echoed for the past 4 years. What if the time that we're in is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb? What if this has been a gestation period? And it's been a long gestation period. It may seem indeed like it has been a long 4 years, but beloveds, it has been a long 2 centuries. As the idea of the so-called United States was born, it was implanted, but it has never been fully born. But we've seen enough of the possibility and the hope to suggest that this gestation may be coming to fruition. Earlier this morning, I went to church at Howard University with the Reverend Dr. William J. Barber, co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign. And he spoke in that historically Black university and spoke of the struggles of those who have been waiting for democracy to be born. One of the things that Dr. Barber reminds us of constantly is that it is bad right now. It is bad. We see the comments in the chat, the fear, the uncertainty, also the deaths of Black people, the continued persecution and disenfranchisement of Indigenous peoples, assaults on our trans siblings, the threats now to our LGBTQ folk, police sanctioned killing, a pandemic out of control. There you go. It is bad, Dr. Barber said, but it has been bad in the past. And through all of those struggles, there have been those who've struggled together, and we are struggling together. It is the long gestation of the hope and the promise of a yet unfulfilled democracy. Breathe with me again. I shared these words earlier this week, yesterday, with the Poor People's Campaign, More Prophetic Vote. I share them with you now. In these times when we may be anxiously holding our breath or breathing so fast in fear that our brains feel deprived of oxygen, breathing together. And this is what I believe, beloveds, why I invite us to breathe together all the time. Because breathing together is an act of collective care. In the time when the breath of so many is stolen by the pandemic of violence against Indigenous, Black, and Brown bodies, when the breath of so many poor and low wealth people is stolen by the pandemic of COVID-19 and lack of healthcare, when the breath of all living things is choked out by the pandemic of ecological devastation, what I hear in my head is Dr. Barber, who'd asked us, what would you do with your last breaths? I'm reminded of my colleague who on her deathbed made sure her vote was cast. And beloveds, breathing together is an act of defiance. It's an act of defiance and resistance to all that would thwart life and steal the breath that forms the words that call out injustice, call out white supremacy, call out a pernicious, dangerous religious nationalism that is heretical against every religious text that people proclaim to believe. I don't know the Jesus that they follow, because the Jesus that I follow has said, welcome the stranger, care for the poor, care for the sick. The Jesus that I know died at the hands of empire. But at some point, Caesar became God. And so we decry. This breathing together is an act of defiance and resistance against all of that. It calls out the wickedness. It calls out and says, ya basta, enough. And breathing together is also an affirmation of life that forms words of fierce compassion, calls for freedom and radical love, words of prophetic utterance that claim and reclaim the traditions that we hold sacred. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition that says we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We affirm justice, equity, and compassion in all our relations. We affirm the use of the democratic process in our congregations and in the country at large. We affirm the goal of world peace and justice for all. We affirm respect for the interdependent web of all existence. We draw from the prophetic words of people who have called us to call out evil and speak the words, the transforming power of love. We call on the traditions that inform us, the Jewish and Christian traditions that hold up a vision of justice, where in Micah it is asked, what is ours to do? To love justice, to do mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Walk humbly with the holy. Walk humbly with the love that calls us to move beyond our narrow interests into an enlargement of self. This all-inclusive universalism that says everyone in, no one out. Traditions that land us squarely on the side of the oppressed. It is bad right now. We're worried. You know, truth be told, I could probably get through the rest of my life personally, maybe not too affected by what might happen. I'm a cisgender, straight, white, privileged person with a job and a family that if I lose my job, they'll take me in. That might be true for some of us, not true for all of us. So why do we fight? Why do we struggle? I struggle, I fight, because my liberation is bound up in the liberation of all. Because no one is free unless all are free. Because I know deep in my bones that I am connected to all that lives. All that lives and breathes, all that struggle. I have a picture of family members, two women who are married with two beautiful children. And their rights are threatened, and I say no. My friends who are threatened by this unjust system, whose lives can be snuffed out, who drive down the street worried, knowing that they will be stopped and targeted. Enough. Ya basta. No. In her book, See No Stranger, Valerie Carr, who talked about her upbringing in the Central Valley of California, her family were farmers for 100 years on that land up in that Central Valley area near Fresno. There weren't a lot of brown people. What her Sikh faith taught her is that everyone is connected. And I can't say it in the Gurumukhi, that is the language, but her grandpa, she called Papaji, had taught her to see no stranger. Many of us exclaimed, what an order. We can't go through with it. It seems so strange to have neighbors, loved ones, family members who are supporting an unjust and cruel administration. One of you wrote, struggling with replacing judgment with compassion. Yes. How Do we do that? For me, I can only tell you that for me, when I can get myself into that place, which is one that is grounded not in fear, but grounded in the sense of understanding how deeply wounded and estranged people must be and fearful to hold views and act on them in ways that hurt others. We have said a lot here, talked a lot about this being the struggle for the soul of our democracy and the soul of our nation. It's a struggle for all of our souls. I belong to a faith that says all souls. And I struggle with the same things that we all are, replacing judgment with compassion. But make no mistake about it, it is a fierce compassion. A fierce compassion that says, yes, I may understand that you're coming from a place of fear and a worldview that in which whiteness is the definer of everything. Whiteness is blinding. Whiteness is enervating. Whiteness is like a blizzard, and when we're in it, we can't see. And that's why maybe the darkness is not the darkness of the tomb, but let's remember what came out of that tomb, life, but the darkness of the tomb that is entombing all of us and is the death of us, but the darkness of the womb. What happens in the dark? Ideas are born, gestated. Things can heal and dream and recover. So we redeem the dark, embrace the dark, and are embraced by this darkness that invites us to see more clearly what is possible, what is being born, and also the places that we can't see. So, beloveds, the mythologist and storyteller Michael Meade just said the other day, sometimes a vote is more than a preference. Sometimes a vote is more like a prayer or a pledge to help life change and heal and renew. He said the idea that every vote counts rests upon the idea that every life counts, and that rests upon the underlying idea that everything is interconnected. So in this time, I'd like to just invite you to go ahead and put in the chat, what do you see being born right now? What do you see being born? The end of the blizzard, community, hope, intentional creativity, yes. Opportunity, yes. More compassion. Twins! Twins! Resilience, strength, opened eyes, progress. There is so much being born. And you know what? Justice. Intersectional transformation on a systemic level. Yes. Courage to rise and to speak out. Freedom. Awareness of privilege. Look at everything that's being born. Fierce love. Radical love. Awareness of injustice. Oh my, there's so much being born, truth, so much happening, so much courage being born right now, right here. So much is being born. Dr. Barber is right. It has been worse over the centuries for Black, Indigenous, and people of color and our trans siblings. Yes, it has been worse. And we stand in the line of those ancestors who fought for justice on this All Saints Day. The saints are a mighty cloud of witnesses, and we become saints. What's being born is from the insecurity of the past has shown what others have been living with for far too long, that eyes wide open, courage to speak in Spanish and teach my kids Spanish. Yes, yes. And Paute, your indigenous language. The reclaiming of not sameness, but the beautiful diversity of our world. The unraveling that leads to the great turning, renewed energy. There is so much being born. And you know, it's like we're the midwives and the birthers at the same time. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe a midwife can midwife their own birth, but I'm sure the midwife likes to have somebody else with them. So we midwife and birth together. What does the midwife say? Breathe, push. Yes, yes. You know this. This is not a newsflash. You know that every vote counts. Thank you for all who've been working so hard to get out the vote. To you the vote, meaning I don't need to tell anybody how to vote, because you know what your values call you to do is to vote love, vote peace, vote justice, vote hope. Every vote counts. And this we know because of the devious attempts of a desperate diabolical administration and its enablers to suppress the vote, because they know if every vote is counted, that they and their hate and opportunism will be defeated. Every life counts, bodies count, everybody counts, everybody's got a right to live, everybody's got a right to love, everybody's got a right to vote, everything is connected. This we know as the pandemics rage and ravage, and this we know as the movements for justice fuse and create a powerful web of connection. Everything is at stake in this election and beyond, which is why we strive, which is why we lift our voices, which is why that we are faithful to love. Again, in this time of remembering those who have gone before, all the saints who have gone before. As Dr. Barber reminded us this morning, a great, great cloud of witnesses. Can you feel them? Can you see them? The veil between the worlds is still thin. In this just past blue moon of magic, the veil is thin. Feel the ancestors, feel the saints calling you forth. Like a wind that not only pushes but leads, that shows us the way. This is our time. You know the old question, right, that we've been asking, right, Rachel, for a long time. If you were wondering what you'd be doing during Nazi Germany, you're doing it now. If you were wondering what you'd be doing during the civil rights movement, you're doing it now. Now, I know people have varying degrees and capacity of being able to act, because you know what? If you're holding space, if you're praying for another world, if you're holding that intention, if you're texting to vote, oh, texting is just the best. Text banking, I have to tell you, for introverts, you don't have to talk to anybody. Whatever you are doing it now. Dr. Barber always gives the names of those who have gone before: Sojourner Truth, Fannie Lou Hamer, Dorothy Day, James Reeb, Viola Luzzi, Martin Luther King, John Lewis. You know who they are. They are the great cloud of witnesses. They are the ones who are showing us what courage is, what determination is, and what it means to say, yeah, basta. We have another vision of a world that is beautiful for everybody, for everyone. So we're going to breathe and we're going to push through this week. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. Tomorrow, I'm going to put out a list of things that you can do, places that you can be virtually to know that you're not alone. So look for that. Anything else being born here? When we celebrate, we'll be together. Our bodies know what to do if we listen. You know, that's really important. Thank you for that, Karen. I want to talk to you about your bodies right now, okay? Just really quick. And then I'm going to close. Guys, Rachel, my papers are down on the floor. What I'm going to invite you to do this week is to be aware of your body. Be aware of your body right now. What does it feel like? Take care of your body. Eat as you can. Breathe. Know that the breath that you feel connects you with all life. And remember that it is a collective act of defiance and liberation. The liberation of all beings, of everyone. No one left behind. No one left behind, beloveds. We will do this together. We don't know what's going to happen. The title of next week's sermon is TBA, because that's probably where we will be. But we will be there holding it out, holding up that vision. Breathe, push. I'm going to close with a poem by Seamus Heaney. And I'm so grateful that Rachel brought it to my attention yesterday. Human beings suffer. They torture one another. They get hurt and get hard. No poem or play or song can fully right a wrong inflicted and endured. Human beings suffer. They torture one another. They get hurt and get hard. No poem or play or song can fully right a wrong inflicted and endured. History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. So hope for a great sea change on the far side of revenge. So hope for a great sea change on the far side of revenge. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. Believe in miracles and cures and healing wells. Call miracle self-healing. The utter self-revealing double take of feeling. Call miracle self-healing, the utter self-revealing double take of feeling. If there's fire on the mountain and lightning and the storm and a God speaks from the sky, that means someone is hearing. the outcry and the birth cry of new life at its term. It means once in a lifetime that justice can rise up and hope and history rhyme. So hope for a great sea change on the far side of revenge. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. Believe in miracles and cures and healing wells. Call miracle self-healing, the utter self-revealing, double take of feeling. If there's a fire on the mountain and lightning and storm and a God speaks from the sky, that means someone is hearing the outcry and the birth cry, the new life at its term. It means once in a lifetime that justice can rise up and hope and history rhyme. Never forget that. Breathe. Push. Amen. And amen. So we will go forth, but we will stay connected. I invite you to join me in our chalice extinguishing words. Although we extinguish this flame, we carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment until we are together again. Okay, y'all. I don't know a lot, but this I know, Kimberly, and all of you. I know we can. Sing with us.
Though days be dark with storms and burdens weigh my heart, though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on when sorrow heals my soul and burdens make me strong. The troubles wait at every turn. I know I can go on, my kindred in my heart, my sibling in my song. The troubles wait at every turn. I know I can go on, and though the journey is long, the destination is near. The troubles wait at every turn. I know I can go on. So kindred, take my hand, and siblings, sing my song. When hope awaits at every turn, I know we will go on.
Okay, can I get an amen? Just come off mute. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Yes, yes, we sang this song every Sunday for months in 2016, and we're going to keep singing it. I know we will go on. You notice how that lyric changes from I know I can go on to I know we will go on, because there's about we breathing and pushing together. Go in peace and justice. Be makers of peace and justice. Amen and amen.